What's going on, traders? Welcome to day one of 25 days of trading. Now, reminder, I'm going to be posting videos every single morning at 11 a.m. for the next 25 days, so make sure you tune back in. But today's going to be talking about just how powerful the VWAP bounce could be, especially the one anchored to 930 New York Open. That's my favorite VWAP to use, and you'll see just how strong the trending moves happen from here, as well as this is the gauge to get a read on trend, right? If we're underneath this black VWAP, which is anchored again to the 930 Eastern Time New York Open, if we're underneath it, I know sellers are in control. So the direction is now clear. I want to be a seller. But also the powerfulness of the moves that want to go short happen from this VWAP. Pretty much everywhere I have the arrow pointed that sure, you could chase lows, right? Lower lows as it keeps falling and hope to get some more drift from it. Sometimes you will. But if we're looking to be more consistent and avoid just chasing markets and taking unnecessary losses, as we'll see in a few slides, I want to get as consistent as possible and get those entries as close to VWAP as possible, because that's where I missed this part of the move. You just have to recognize that, not FOMO in. Recognize that, hey, I've done a million markups. There's probably going to be a pullback at some point. That'll be my next opportunity to get in. Let me be smart and preserve my ammo until that opportunity presents itself. But if we don't have that self-discipline, then we're just going to chase moves and hope we're just on the right side of things because, we're underneath New York VWAP, so let me just sell it. You catch yourself at the bottom of the move where it would have given you the higher sell price that you wanted. If you miss that, don't just jump in away from VWAP. This is a magnet, right? It wants to probably return to this VWAP. Now, it doesn't always happen 3-4 times a day or 20-30 minutes in between each other, but sometimes you will, and those are the days you really want to maximize on. And some days you just get 2 retests, maybe only 1. But that's why it's important that we're available and managing our risk properly, that we can capitalize on moves like that. Right, I've talked about it on AceFX TV, so for anyone that doesn't know, my full VWAP strategy is available on AceFX TV. You guys can all get your first month free. Just click the link down below or use code FIRST. I'll talk all about not chasing this first break of open range high. You can see it drifts like maybe 5-6 points. And then here's the return to VWAP that we wanted. So now I can get a better sell price and buy it off of the bounce because at this point of the day, right, looking left to right, it's pretty bullish. I know I want to be a buyer, but where do I want to be a buyer? It's not just out in no man's land away from VWAP and hope it keeps on going. If I can get a pullback and buyers defend it, that's where I want to get back in long, right? I don't want to be just jumping now up at the top because I thought I had a nice read down here, but I didn't capitalize on it. Let me just chase it higher. On very strong trending days, yes, you could buy it anywhere and you'll make money. But on the slower days, on the grindy days like this, when it makes only really a couple strong moves, if you position yourself as close to this VWAP as possible, you can capitalize them, right? Rather than buying it up here, maybe getting 2 points out of it after sitting through drawdown, right? So just trying to recognize how powerful this VWAP bounce can be. And sometimes I will say the bounce play requires, I'd say, confidence, as all trading does. That to have confidence to take the bounce play, you have to kind of know, I know I want to be a buyer, right? Because it's all about in the Futures 2.0 strategy, as I'm mentioning too. If you anchor a high day VWAP onto here, maybe it's like running across up top there. That extra confidence would be if it breaks that, saying, okay, buyers are 100% back in. And you're going to want that extra confidence to tell you that buyers are in. Okay, now we'll long it. But if you already have the confidence saying, you know what, I have a good read on the markets. I like the levels we're playing off of. The bias is clear to me. I don't need to wait for that high day VWAP break up here. I want to buy it down near that VWAP because I know if I get a stop loss below and that gets taken out, I'm wrong, right? We're not trending bullish like I quite thought. Now let me maybe shift my bias, right? So it's not a bad price waiting for the high day break. They're both viable options. And some days when it's not as clear, you do want that extra confidence of saying, you know what? I like the bounce, but also tell me that you could break this high of day VWAP and along it a little bit higher, right? That goes to this point here. We get clean bounces off the New York VWAP. All the moves, the clean moves, happen from this blue magic line, the New York VWAP. This black one underneath is the overnight, just showing that we're above that. So clearly the bias is full buyers. But even this over here, right? You're probably not going to buy the bounce perfectly right there. So you anchor this high of day VWAP on in purple. When buyers take that out, now it's above New York and the high of day VWAP saying buyers are ready to continue this clearly bullish trend. So now get in. And that's when it's ready to move back higher. Not a bad play if you're taking the high of day break versus the bounce plays. The advanced way, I'd say, is getting positioned around the bounce plays, right? Because if you look at it here, the bounce play off New York, if you get that really great buy price, rather than seeing that strong bullish candle, now you're getting in long. It's a pretty decent move that you just left on the table. Not the end of the world, but it could be a difference maker in the long run. Looking at it here, where could I make money long today, right? Could I scalp it anywhere? Maybe take 5 points out of it if I just buy it on its way up and close it 3 minutes later? Sure. But on days that dry up or they're not as steady as all buyers in control and I don't know the outcomes, well, if I just position myself and wait for these pullbacks, these gave some pretty clean opportunities, right? And this would be a clean example if you buy it on the bounce play, the high day break here. Even if you do buy it up here, you'll probably make money today, right? Because it just keeps on going higher and higher. But what about this earlier entry off the New York? That's the clean move. If you miss that and now you jump in up here, how much drawdown do you take? Maybe like an hour and a half until you finally get that push higher. So sometimes jumping in late is a thing. But on the strong trending days, everybody wins, you know? So looking at this drift lower, could it keep going lower? Could I just jump in short? Sure. But I want to wait for that New York VWAP bounce. That's where my playbook is built off of. That's where I find my cleanest entries. And another thing to touch on, which I don't know if I even mentioned, if I get short around this New York VWAP and a stop loss clearly well above, if that gets taken out, does it look pretty bearish anymore? No, it doesn't. So now I can maybe shift my bias, but hey, I gave a good attempt at the shorts. Now let's take it to previous. Let's say you did chase this short earlier, maybe on this move down lower here or even over here, and you get stopped out there. Now you're stopped out for a loss. Do you still want to be a seller? Yeah, potentially, probably. So now like we just took a loss and didn't really learn or gain anything from it. So sometimes I am willing to lose, saying, you know what, I'm not saying we're going to absolutely move lower because we haven't taken out of low a day VWAP here, right? But I like this price level. I know it could definitely want to bounce from here. The trend is definitely bearish. So you know what, let me give it a swing. And if it loses, it loses. But I gave it a fair shot at a consistent level. If I can just trade it consistently, I know more times than not, I'll find bounces off of here. Looking at it this way, when it's not off of a level, yes, you could chase shorts lower here, make money, and eventually it's just going to dry up and pull back to New York. So could you short that? You definitely could, and it could have made some more money like it did to the left, but it was actually time for it to pull back to where? The New York VWAP, where I would have wanted to sell it anyways, and where you probably would have wanted to sell it back here on the left too, right? So not that you can't make money away from it, but I really do trust and follow the bounce plays a lot more heavily because they're more consistent, they're stronger, they don't happen as often, right? I'm not going to get 16 New York VWAP bounces a day to choose from. It's going to happen maybe twice or 3 times. It's my decision to act on them. These little pullbacks, they're happening like 10 times a day. How do I know which one I want to pick, which one I don't love as much, right? It's tougher to decide, so you're just ultimately going to probably take more losses. This is as simple as it could be. Like I said, screenshot all these markups if you want. It goes further into detail on ASFX TV, so make sure you check that out. You guys all get a first month free. You guys will tune into the live streams where we take these trades and these setups every single day. Make sure you check that out. But it's as simple as not FOMOing into moves away from VWAP. As hard as it could be, sometimes when you see strong momentum, just recognize that the old you would chase those. And what did the old you? Probably got burnt quite a bit of times. So let me now pull back, not chase those old impulses, and wait for the return to this VWAP. If it happens, great, I'll act on it. If it doesn't, I'll wait some more, and then I'll wait some more. And then sometimes you'll get these quick retests, and you sell it right back off of VWAP. And you know what? I like that. That was clean, stress-free. I'm proud of the win. And you also say, well, if that would have lost, like I said over here, stop loss at high of day for a short. If that gets stopped out, I gave the shorts all the room they needed to go. It didn't work out. This trend is maybe shifting. Let me pivot. So you could also sleep at night knowing, you know what, I took a good trade. The worst losses are the ones where you're just mad at yourself because you're like, why did I do that? If I sell this and it loses, I'm not going to question why did I do that? Well, you shouldn't. You know, sometimes I will because no one likes losing. But you could then sleep better at night saying, I'm taking consistent setups. Let me just keep on doing that. And if I keep on doing that with proper risk management, not doubling down on my losses, not then chasing other types of setups, I should be good in the long run. Okay, let me just keep doing that. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, if you want further detail on this, I definitely recommend tuning into Futures 2.0. I just did an update for you guys that dropped now at the start of this series. So go check that out. And then tune into the live streams. Ask questions. Trade these setups live with us. Go through all the markups, all the material. And I'll answer any questions you got. And we'll just keep trading it together, all right? So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you check back in tomorrow. And I also want to give a quick shout out to Top One Futures for sponsoring this. As always, Code Evans running the best deal right now. The Black Friday sale going into the Christmas sale. So just definitely check it out down below. See what their sale is rocking right now. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.